Thank you so much. It's very important to me that those of us in this field remember why we're here. We're here for the students, and we work at the intersection of technology and learning. And to tell you why I'm so excited about what I'm talking about today, why I'm so passionate about it, I want to go back in my own history. This is me in my own learning, engaged in learning about atoms at the age of about 6 or 7. And I had a kind of a love-hate relationship with school, as I'm sure many of you did. I had some rough times in school, but I had some great times too, and it was really about the connections that I made there. This is my high school physics teacher, Mr. Layton. If it wasn't for Mr. Layton, I probably would never have become a scientist. And it wasn't so much what he taught me about physics and mathematics, as important as that was. It was what he taught me about problem solving. Mr. Layton was the kind of teacher who left the classroom open every day at lunch, and we'd come in and hang out and listen to music and talk. And one day we were in there and we saw he had an apparatus that would detect when something went past it. It was some kind of a photocell. And he had a camera that had an electronic trigger, and we said, hey, could there be a way to set this up so that we could take a picture at the instant a drop of water hits a bowl of water? Because I've seen pictures of that and it seems really cool. And he said, that sounds like a good thing to try. Why don't you do that? Here's the apparatus, here's the equipment, give it a try. And by the way, don't use too much of this Polaroid film because it's kind of expensive. I realize now he was probably buying it out of his own pocket. And we spent many, many days at lunch doing that, and finally we got a picture of the moment when the water hits the water, and it was just so exciting. This is one of my graduate advisors, Barbara Ryder. When I was in graduate school, it took me 12 years to get my PhD. Talk about a love-hate relationship with school. And one day she saw me in the hall and she took me aside and said, Michael, I know you're struggling. I want to make sure you get through and finish because you have something to offer to the world, and I want to make sure you get it. And if she hadn't had that realization that I needed help and come to me and made that change, I wouldn't be where I am today. But now we're told that there's a breakdown in education, and we have to make a completely different change and change the way we do everything. And I think there's a danger in a lot of this rhetoric, and I want to talk about that. It's implied that we in the education field don't have the ability to innovate our way out of it, that we have to depend on business or government to tell us how to do it. We're told that it's the end of higher education, it's the end of the university as we know it, and the ways we've depended upon in the past will no longer work for us. We're told there's a revolution, and what we need to do is provide education at massive scale, that the only way we're going to educate the world is by educating thousands of students at the same time. That there's a new world unfolding, and we don't have a choice. We have to adapt to it. But what this forgets is that we don't necessarily always need a computer to tell us when a student is struggling. We don't always need to buy software. We have to remember that it matters. Choice matters. The tools we choose to use matter. And those of us in this room need to keep that in mind and need to remember that when we choose those technologies, they shape us and they shape our students. I'm inspired by the work of E.F. Schumacher in a book that I read in college, Small is Beautiful, Economy as If People Matter. Schumacher said that cost matters. We have to consider what technology costs. If technology is too expensive, we can't offer it to everybody. Scale matters. Human scale technology is better because it values the human over the technology. And creativity matters, and we know that in this room. So it's about students and it's about teachers. All the technology in the world will not save us if we don't start with the student. And that's what I beg and implore all of you to remember as you go out of here and as you go forward with your work. Thank you so much. These are some of the people who've inspired my journey in thinking about these matters.